I'm Pat Wain, and I'm chairperson of the Friends of Tarlair Community Group, who are registered as a Scottish charitable organisation. We're set up to rescue the A-listed Art Deco triple wave replenished pool in Macduff, Aberdeenshire, to put in place a viable plan for its future going forward. I'm not very sure if there's anybody here that doesn't really know Tarlair very well, but I'm not going to go into too much depth, but I'll just give a wee bit of background for anybody that's just not knowing what's been going on in the past and what is it we're trying to do. So to start with, it's been great to be given this opportunity because, well, the opportunities are sometimes hard to come by to get this many people around a sort of table. So it's nice to be given the opportunity to talk to the Banff Business Forum and the rest of you for a catch up on what Tarlair is now and why we're keen to secure firm roots in our present project, which is to restore the old tea room. We know it as the old tea room, but it seems to now be termed the pavilion structure at Tarlair. So if you hear anybody talking pavilion, that's the old tea room. So intention is to have it developed for community benefit, so that the asset has room to grow health, fitness and adventure activities into the rest of the site in the near future. Just as a wee background, we started the Save Tarlair group in 2012. We popped up our eager hands to lend a hand if needed at a public meeting that was held at the Banff Springs Hotel. It was organised then to gauge enthusiasm for saving the structures. And 3 of these eager beavers, we're still there. And we later got voted on as secretary, treasurer and chairperson, which is me. The community group, when it became SCO in 2015, that's when we got voted on, and we're still here yet. The committee, plus many family, friends, volunteers, we've cleaned and we've cleared and we've dug and we've cut and we've picked up litter on the site since 2012 and allowed public an amount of safe access. The authorities financed a survey, and Friends of Tarlair now have ownership of these conservation plan documents. They were created by John Addison of Addison Conservation and Design as a company that's really very much respected by the Historic Environment Scotland. So a wee brief of what the conservation plans were created by him. The triple pool structure repair plan was split into 3 phases by the conservation engineer for particular purposes. The phase 1 was a boating pool, the terraces and the toddler pool, and this was to basically save the structures from disappearing altogether, basically. And that allowed safe access to the area with disability access around the pools. This was fantastic conservation repairs completed by Coventburn contractors. They were from here in 2015, and that did indeed, that encouraged more visitors back into the area. This area seems to be a sort of local comfort area where folk are able to enjoy a space where they can spend some leisure time, but space which is pretty short supply actually in Macduff. But visits are limited obviously because of lack of facilities and its general appearance. And phase 2 is the tea room structure and our project. And we presented our business plan to the authorities through the community asset transfer route to gain lease in 2020. And this gives us a 99-year lease, and that sort of position allows us to apply to various funding bodies to reach the financial goal, which is £915,840. These costs include VAT, and they also include an update in labour and materials since the original conservation plans were done in 2015. As it's the same company that's done the reassessment. So that costs include VAT are only for the repair and restoration, with the fit out for the kitchen and cafe costs are actually a further £120,000. We hope to access and recycle workshop furniture, and we've spoken about that recently to other members of the authorities. Phase 2, the repairs, is the sort of important next step because of what it can offer as a business. The proceeds from the cafe, business and social centre will be used for future maintenance and assist with growth in outdoor activities and adventure sports around the site and in the pools. A 3-year financial forecast can be accessed in our business plans via our website. That's www.friendsoftarlair.co.uk. What we have in our business plans is too much to go into at this wee talk. The phase 3, that will restore the outer pool seawall, completing the current conservation repairs. The conservation engineers used this encapsulation technique method on the previous repairs. So using this technique would necessitate a widening, heightening and reinforcing of the outer seawall. The conservation engineers will no doubt give due consideration to tidal forces in the design, which always seems to be an ongoing worry for people considering this project when it's actually a tidal pool, so that sort of goes without saying that that will be thought about. The tidal replenishing system is cut off for now, along with the first phase repairs. The tidal link will be reinstated as part of the original design. That's the plan. The conservation plans will only sort of be allowed, if you like, sticking to original design. The cost registered in the 3-phase plans for this part of the works was £100,000. It can only be properly assessed when the infill of the big pools is removed. I'm not very sure if any of you know how that was supposedly a sort of state of preservation at the time, was that they would fill in the big pool with rubble. It might have been a safety measure, I'm not very sure. It was filled in with rubble and then it was sort of screed over with cement so that your depth of the big pool is not a swimming depth. And I think the idea was perhaps partly to save the works underneath it and partly to make sure there wasn't a depth there, because I think it was 6 metres, the old diving platform. So that needs to be removed and reassessed. We've talked a lot about, as everybody else has, when we're funding, a lot talking about regeneration, which is in everybody's minds. So lying as it is on the edge of Macduff, Tarlair is often set aside when there are discussions on regeneration because it's very much town centre people are discussing. Our objective is to create sustainable regeneration instead of like sticking plasters with short-term gain, which are fine for short term. Footfall in the town will be increased by adding more cyclists, walkers, coastal path walkers, kayakers, scuba divers, wildwater swimmers, with tourists interested in heritage, or those coming to enjoy the dramatic beauty, spectacular views, with numbers increasing as the area is beautified and activities develop. We need a catalyst for town and centre growth, and we've an asset with multiple potential attractions. By adding a sort of trek through town to Tarlair from local viewpoints to our website, we'll encourage movement through the town and use other initiatives for positive change to help movement through the town. Visit Scotland, hope we can be part of the North East 250 route and offer a new product for cruise ships docking in Aberdeen. The product's well supported by various fundraising initiatives, and our introduction of a town gala held at Tarlair is one example of local enthusiasm, where the numbers are over 2,000, which is assessed by the sort of selling of food on the day, really. A wee bit about the heritage, because that's really what it's all about in the long run. We would like to reinstate the pride Macduff had for the Art Deco pool, designed by their own borough surveyor in 1929 and was completed by Macduff contractors by 1933. I think there was little instalments, the changing rooms being the last thing to do in 33. We would like to protect its status as unique in design with no other known triple tidal pool in Scotland. They talk wider than that, but we'll stick to the Scottish thing right now. It's A-listed. Unfortunately, it's still in the at-risk status, and simple yet strong Art Deco features are worthy of saving for the future, as an opinion passed by Historic Environment Scotland. We would like to see this worthy piece of heritage come back into constructive use for leisure, education, health and well-being for the whole community. And this is the kind of thing that we are hoping that the pavilion will provide us in our plans, and we've We have interested parties and stakeholders from various directions involved in various things coming forward with interest already in how they can be involved in pavilion affairs. So the cafe design will reflect the Art Deco design era, with the ability to convert for use as a musical venue, lecture night, small celebrations, heritage talks and display with an adjustable hanging system for displaying the work of local artists. We'll form links with age concerned to provide, say, things like special Victorian tea afternoons to help tackle loneliness, with further provision in the workshop to share skills and an informal setting to bring together different generations for mutual benefit. There will be reasons to gather for educational purposes in the transfer of abilities and skills and traditional skills. There will be special interest in creativity workshops, particularly for those who may have not fitted with formal education. Skilled educators are already keen and waiting the opportunity to get involved, with some big community projects already being discussed. Work produced in the workshop will be exhibited in the cafe space to encourage the pride felt in working for a purpose. There will be multiple volunteering opportunities, particularly in the cafe. Organisational skills for the creation of events can be developed, where confidence gained will take them forward to the world of work. The workshop will have a heritage display particular to Tarlair as its background, and Macduff Heritage Society are keen to have a changing exhibition for special interest days throughout the year, which will be displayed either in the cafe, workshop or both. Outdoor access showers and toilets will be designed in at the beginning to accommodate future growth in outdoor activities. Wild water swimmers, etc., have already shown interest in that sort of facility. Support, the kind of support that perhaps I can only give you little snippets from the kind of letters that we got when we were gathering interest, if you like, when we were doing our business plans. So with a return to outdoor activities and adventure sports, the space, the cliffs and the pools can lend an imaginative and unique offer for those seeking challenges. Fitness and play equipment can be considered at an early stage. That's facilities, if you like, that would be used free for use. That's when phase 2 repairs are funded and completed. Adventure challenges will be led by outdoor educators and offer a new type of employment in this district. One or two excerpts from letters of support, which I'll just give you little snippets. Certainly not going to read the whole letters. So the Macduff Scouts group said, on completion, we would hope to host bigger scouting events and would be interested in using the facilities for training. No Hold Barred Theatre Company, we propose to develop a large-scale site-specific and community-based performance to the Grade A listed site at Tarlair. From Swim Free Aberdeen, using Tarlair as a training ground with access to showers and toilets would be welcome. Robin Gray, kayaking and scuba diving, his letter of support said that the coastline is attractive to kayakers but is poorly served with facilities to encourage an increase in numbers. Tristan Walker, the head teacher from Macduff Primary School, thanked us for coming to speak to the children, which we did. We went there with our heritage display, encouraged a lot of talk, and the kids had fantastic ideas, much more exciting than we could have possibly imagined. They had been down there, they actually had designed a garden for a Scottish-wide school competition, and their choice of design was based on Tarlair. So that went down to Glasgow for exhibition. So the children are very excited, according to Tristan, that their ideas could become part of the planning process, and they're keen to remain involved as education opportunities arise. The Chief Executive of Visit Scotland Aberdeenshire, Chris Foy, part of his note of interest was developing this great visitor experience is fundamental in helping the region achieve its ambition to give the value of tourism to 1 billion by 2023. Successful development of Tarlair will strengthen the tourist product offer in Macduff and the wider Banffshire coast region. Grampian 50 network, any of our registered groups would welcome facilities at Tarlair to round off their day. Macduff Marine Aquarium said the site of natural beauty and historic significance has long been in need of regeneration. The promotion of outdoor activities is in line with our objectives at the aquarium. Funding is probably where, unfortunately, always what we need. We have not yet reached our funding goal, with many funders having delayed decisions, making decision-making until much later because of the COVID-related problems. People not going into offices, written applications haven't been read, etc., etc. At the moment, we do not have an accurate idea of the amount we can raise, hopefully the whole amount. We don't intend to stop until we achieve our financial goal, basically. This is the most important stage of the structural repairs, and we think an important project for Macduff and its community. The funding gain so far is from about 7 different companies, and that's reached 46,000. That's over and above what we've raised in fundraising events throughout the years. We're sort of keeping that as our cushion, if you like, for the time being. So that is with Historic Environment Repairs Grant and other big funders. They've yet to reply. If I just to give you an example of how funding is right now, for those that are maybe not in the know, the HES Repairs Grant Fund was due to go in last May the 31st. It was delayed to December the 31st. They usually reply by now, but their replies have again been delayed until at least the end of May. So everything's sort of been kicked down the road, decision making, which just what's happening obviously over this last year. The National Lottery Heritage Fund is now linked very closely to COVID-19 recovery. So we're looking into how we fit their funding guidelines, because they just came back online after having been off altogether last year. An architect experienced in conservation project is working on a design scheme, and the original conservation company, being Addison Conservation Design, is still on board. John Addison unfortunately died 2 years ago. It's his partner in the company that's continuing with the same company. If costs come in for the architect at over 10,000, then that then has to go to tender. Writing funding applications is without a doubt a full-time job, but we hope to reap the rewards of our efforts sooner rather than later. We would hope to have work underway by 2022. Further initiatives we're in communication with now is because our electricity was cut off, our cable was removed many years ago, it was all pulled out. So we're kind of using that as a reason, an excuse to move towards green energy. So we're in contact now with how we'll work that. So this has it put us in a favourable position to endeavour to create a green energy flagship project. We're in the process of having discussions with Community Energy Scotland. This will work well with our other intended low food miles and recyclable products initiatives. Our introductory green credentials will be via a 400 hedgerow planting initiative. The planting will help absorb excess moisture below the golf course, stabilising the slope, and will encourage wildlife. We hope to form links with the Banff Wildlife Group for this purpose. Now, there's probably lots more that I could say, and lots of stuff I've missed out, but I'm hoping that's kind of covered things that you may not have known, things you want to know, and leave space for you to ask questions as well.